Okay, we start the first lesson, stage 1, working with XML, and it's on page 443 for those of you who like to follow along in the book. First, let's talk about it for a few. Repurposing content or placing the same content into different layouts, often for multiple media output, is a common design task. At the first stage of this project, you will use XML, which stands for Extensible Markup Language, to use the same content in 3 different print layouts. For many designers, XML is an intimidating concept. Despite all of the complexities that underlie this programming language, InDesign makes it very easy to implement XML in your layout documentation. So that's where we are going to start. First, let's talk about tag frames for XML. Remember in the introduction, I said that the tag frames and the XML programming stuff all has to match exactly for this to work. So, and they do it generally in lowercase. So lowercase, they have to match exactly, including dashes. So be real careful with your typing on this. Okay, let's talk about it now. Tag frames for XML. As you know, styles define the appearances of content. All paragraphs formatted with the subhead title displayed, the characters defined for that style regardless of the actual content in those headings. XML describes the actual content marked with a specific tag. In other words, the heading is the actual text identified by XML heading tag regardless of the applied formatting. The first step in creating an XML file is to identify the elements that make up the document content of each, which is enclosed with tags as shown below. If you take a look on page 443, you'll see an opening heading and a closing heading tag. This is very, very similar to web design, except they're using capital letters in it. The first heading is the opening tag. It defines the beginning of the content. The second heading with the slash in it is the closing tag. It defines the end of the content. When InDesign imports an XML file, it finds the content with the tags and places the content into their appropriate location in the layout. To create XML files for this project, you first have to define and apply tags for the different elements in the layout. So that's what we're going to start doing first. Okay, first thing you need to do is bring the sports folder out onto your desktop as a copy, so you leave the original alone. Once you've done that, open up the sportsflyer.indd. You are going to see, should I update these files? Yes, update the files. At that point in time, we can get started. So once you have Sports Flyer INDD open, the first thing we want to do is we want to open up the tags dialog box. So how we do that is we're going to go up to Window, down to Utilities, and grab tags. I don't know if you can see this on my screen, but it's the tags dialog box, which shows only a root in it, and then you have 2 markings and a garbage, or 2 icons and a garbage can at the bottom, and those we will be using a lot. Okay, let's first go over and grab our selection tool. And what we're going to do first is grab the large frame around the picture. So how I know I have the large frame around the picture selected is I will see the little squares like I can resize it. Although I'm not going to resize it, but when I see those squares, I know that I have the frame selected. In the tags panel, what you're going to do is click on the icon that has the plus. That is the auto tag button. And as soon as I do that with that image frame selected, what happens is one called image shows up in the tag dialog box. And you should see a purple in the box itself and on the image. Okay, our next step is in the tag panels, we're going to double click on the image tag. So double click on it, and we are going to rename that main-image with capital letters. So in the tags option, capital M for main, dash, capital I for image, and type image. And then once you have done that, you can click OK. With the large image frame still selected, click main image in the panel again, and what it does is it actually applies it to that frame. Okay, using the same method, we're going to tag the other image and call it logo. So we're going to go over and click on the frame to the logo. We are going to go down and click in the tags box and click auto tag, and in it opened up another image, and we're going to double click on it, and we're going to call this one logo, and that's with a capital L, and click OK. And then we are going to click on the logo again to cement it onto that frame. Okay, the next one we're going to select is we're going to go down and click on the web address one and click the auto tag button. And we're going to double click on it. It says story. We're going to double click on it to open it up, and we're going to type in web with a capital W dash address with a capital A and click OK. And then while still selected on it, we're going to click on the web address one more time to cement it to the frame. Then what we are going to do is we're going to come down and click this triple text frame at the bottom where it says satisfy your sense of adventure. And then it's got two areas of text. We're going to do one more new one, which is going to show as another story. This time what we're going to do is double click on it, and we're going to call this one main text with a capital M for main, dash, and a capital T for text, and type that in the box and click OK. And then of course click on main text to solidify it. Okay, at this point in time, now that we've got all of them named, what it says to do in the book is choose view and structure, which is clear down at the bottom, and hide tagged frames. So that's what we just did. And then we're going to do a Control S to save our work. Okay, our next step is we are continuing with what we're doing, and this time it's going to be tag content for XML starting on page 446. In addition to tagging the frames, you can also tag specific content with frames. Doing so enables you to automatically format XML content into other layouts and allows you to access specific content when necessary. So what we're going to do next is make sure that hidden characters are visible in case you need to know what hidden characters are. Okay, if you see all the backwards P's and all the spacing and stuff, those are hidden characters. If they are not on, you need to go up to type, and you need to go down to show hidden characters, which is at the very bottom, and turn them on so you can see them. Okay, mine are currently on. I'll give you a second or two while I'm talking here for you to get that done. Okay, now our next step is we're going to use the type tool, and we're going to highlight the first paragraph in the 3-column text. That's the satisfy, and I always start at the bottom, and you need to do it before the P, like so. And then what we're going to do is we are going to click in the tag box. This time you're going to click new tag, which is the black one right next to the garbage can, and it'll come in as tag 1, and you are going to name that heading with a capital H. Okay, once you do that, you're going to hit enter to finalize the name change, and while it's still selected, what you're going to do is you're going to scroll up. These are all alphabetical, and click on heading one time to solidify that that now is the heading. Now, the next thing we are going to do is click in the paragraph to get rid of the highlight. And if you look really, really closely, I don't know if you can see it. Okay, it's not showing, so I'm going to do it again. It should show, if it's solidified right, you should see brackets around it, and for some reason I'm not. Hold on, I've got to see if I can figure out why it's not working this time. Okay, it says if you're not seeing brackets to go up to View and down to Structure, and we need to show tag markers. Okay, once I did that, yes, now you can see them and they're red, so it's a little bit hard to see, but you'll see that indeed it shows that we have got that set as the heading. Using the type tool, we're going to select the first paragraph in the second column. So I'm going to, oops, okay, I've got to go back to my space selection tool for a second so I can get scooted over. Then I'm going to go back to my text tool, and I'm only going to select this very first paragraph, including the period right here. And then what I'm going to do is click the new tag button, and we're going to call this one body copy, and hit enter. And then we're going to scroll up and click body copy one more time to make sure that it cements body copy to that. Then I'm going to highlight introduction class available. Okay, click new tag, and this one I'm going to call subhead. And hit enter. And then I'm going to click subhead one time to cement it, and how I know, of course, are the brackets. Then I'm going to, and this one you got to be a little bit careful on, start right at the end of water skating, highlight going upwards. Do not grab that first double arrow thingy there. Okay, do new, and we are going to call this one body dash list. So capital B for body, dash capital L for list, hit enter. And then scroll up and make sure that you select body list to where it is selected. Okay, now the next step is to scroll over to the right hand side, and this highlight the first paragraph, and this one we're going to click the body copy. And then we're going to highlight upcoming tours and click subhead. And then we are going to grab the Grand Canyon list. And this one we're going to do body list, like so. Okay, that way we've got everything marked. And we're going to do a Control S to save our work.